you're all going to help me out tonight, because I don't know if Angie can get on tonight. And I'll just apologise that I'm late, because I actually thought it was 5:30, not 6:30. So, and I've had a really stressful day today, because I don't know if any of you are aware, but for nearly a year, Universal Credits have messed my whole money up. So again, they've not paid me right, which has just been another ball ache trying to sort out. But hopefully I'm going to get somewhere. Finally got a form to fill out, which has been sent off. The consultant's done another letter. This has gone on for over a year. But, you know, if I'm feeling this stress, like, you know, what is everybody else feeling out there who's got nothing? Do you know what I mean? I've got nothing, but I have like got a nice little flat at least, and that, do you know what I mean? And I've got a good family who help me, do you know what I mean? And support me and make sure that, you know, I have got food in and stuff. And, you know, what if you've not got family? You know, it's just like, it's just really bad. And then with this COVID-19, you know, all the elderly out there are, you know, how stressed must they feel? Do you know what I mean? Like, I've been trying to remedy a problem for 7 years through the family courts, and, you know, through the police, through social services, through MPs, through barristers, through solicitors, meant to have been going to like the right people to remedy a situation, but I've got nowhere. And then I've had the same situation with Universal Credit. So, you know, now everything's on a shutdown for people. You know, how are they managing? Do you know what I mean? If they've not got family, they've not got, you know, anybody, and it's really distressing me, guys. Do you know what I mean? Because it really upsets me when people just don't have nothing. Do you know what I mean? And all what they need is a bit of food and, you know, some TLC, which is what we should all be entitled to. Food across the earth should all be free anyway. Food, shouldn't it? I've started growing some plants, guys. I've got strawberries and um, tomatoes and everything. I've only got a little windowsill, but I thought I'll give it a go anyway. They are growing. So, you know, even if you're in a little flat, you can have a little go, guys. But, you know, we should all have free food, free water, free lecky. Do you know what I mean? Because they're the basic things in life that we all need across the whole entire earth. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, hopefully this should wake the people up in England that, you know, we could have a system that is a lot better, and that it doesn't have to be that the way it is that they're making it. And like now they're saying to the people, oh, we'll never go back the same. Well, why won't we ever go back the same? The only reason we won't go back the same is because they won't let it go back the same. Anything can happen, anything can be changed, you know what I mean? So, you know, but yeah, I get a little bit nervous talking without our Ange, because obviously, you know, Ange is my little, you know, best mate really, and we've become, you know, really good friends throughout this. And, you know, if it wasn't for Ange, you know, sometimes I don't think I'd have made it if I hadn't met her, I'll be honest with you. I know I might be a bit emotional today, but the government's got me emotional. And, you know, she supported me through a lot of stuff. Do you know what I mean? Especially when I knew what the family courts and the police were doing to me. And then when at the point, you know, I met Ange, I didn't know anybody that was going through this, and I thought I was just all on my own. And then when I met her, this massive door opened, and then we just kept finding loads of people, thousands of people were coming through Facebook and through all other things. And, you know, when you feel like you're going crazy because the government's making you feel like you're going crazy and you're actually not, you just want justice. Do you know what I mean? It's good that, you know, you've got people there for support, because that's what the government doesn't do. It just doesn't support you when you're going through something traumatic. Do you know what I mean? Even though they're making you go through that trauma, and they know that they're putting you through that trauma, and they know how you're going to react to the trauma that they're putting you through, which is even worse. Do you know what I mean? So they've got books about, you know, how you know, how we're going to react to things. So they know. So why are they doing it to us all? Why is our government doing all this to the people? Do you know what I mean? Why aren't they letting anyone get, you know, justice? Do you know, it's just awful. And then like when I met Ange, you know, and you see like paedophilia and stuff like that, I suppose it was a little bit like everybody else. Like, I hated it, and it's something that, do you know what I mean, that got me blood going, and I'd go and rip anybody's head off that was one. But, you know, I suppose I thought that things were in place for the kids, that, do you know what I mean? That these cases that we saw every now and again were just like one or two cases, because you couldn't imagine that, you know, this is rife everywhere, and it's, do you know what I mean? And it's going on all over the place, you know, and the people just, they're just not getting listened to by anybody. And like with my situation, when I was getting groomed and I've reported it to the police and on and on and on, and they don't do anything. Like, when you've been abused, you don't realise at the time that sometimes that you've been abused. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense to you? Because you think that the person who's abusing you does, you know, cares for you, but they don't care for you. So, you know, when that person does finally get the courage to speak out, you expect the authorities to be there to do the job, to do what they say on the tin. Do you know what I mean? So if you go with a crime, you expect the police to do an investigation, not to fob you off and say, oh no, sorry, there's nothing there, there's nothing that we can do. Do you know what I mean? So if I got a no, sorry, there's nothing that we can do, when I know that there is evidence there, and you know, they've never interviewed my parents, because when I went missing at the age of 15, they've never interviewed, they're still alive, they're willing to speak to the police, they've been into the station 3-4 times, they've emailed the officers, no one gets back to us. Do you know what I mean? And the police have said that there's no evidence, and then I've got photographic evidence of me at his mum and dad's house at the age of 15 while I was pregnant with his child, which I lost in the July of 1994. So I've got photographs of me at Blackpool Sandcastle in the April of 1994. So there you go. Another place was, as we all know, kids are going there, naked swims. Do you know what I mean? You know, sorry, I was just seeing what Charles said there. I'll have a little read of that just in 1 second. So, you know, it's just horrendous when you go in to get a remedy and they're not letting you. So they're saying that there's no evidence. Well, I've got photographic evidence. I've got people that will stand up to say, you know, that he was having a relationship with me when I was still at school and stuff. And plus, I basically was kidnapped from February 1994, and I didn't return home to my mum's till 1996. So where was I for 2 years? And then when the police did interview my ex-partner, he said that he didn't know me until I was 16 and 1 month. Well, I've got photographs of me in his back garden. I've got photographs of me in Blackpool. I disappeared in February. I've got a wedding album 5 days before I turned 16, which was 4 days before I lost his child, at a wedding, and the bride will come out and speak. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, I'm failing to see how there is no evidence. And I've got the wedding album with us in it. We're in it. We are in the wedding album. And, you know, the bride will speak to say that he acted as my partner all day and night. And where the wedding due was, well, we just went back to his mum and dad's because it was around the corner. They've never interviewed his parents, but his dad sadly died the other week. So they won't be able to interview him, but there's still plenty of other people. Do you know what I mean? But, you know, it just shows that they just don't do anything. And that is my only question to the police. If he says 16 and 1 month, take this evidence off me, go and see the people, but they won't do it. They just won't do it. And the only reason they won't do it is because they didn't do the investigation right in the first place, and they thought I was some crazy girl that just came into the police station and said, this has happened to me. And because when I did my interview, I didn't cry. You know, now what you've got to think is when someone does go and do an interview, not everybody is going to be in tears. Do you know how long it took me to even get into that police station? It took me years. And if they thought for 1 second I'd cry my eyes out while I told them that, no, he wasn't having that over me in there. There's no way. Do you know what I mean? Because I can suck in what he's done to me. I can't suck in what he's done to my children now. You know, and I was prepared to even not say anything to just even protect my children, because I didn't want them to know their own father was a monster. That's how much I'd protect my own children. But unfortunately, it doesn't matter what you do with this man. until the authorities do the job, you're not going to get anywhere, and that's the top and bottom of it. And because they haven't done the job, you know, they've left my children with an abuser, sorry. You know, this man over the years has put my children around smackheads to try to rile me up. Do you know what I mean? Which he did get a reaction. I did go down there and I bit the person's face, I'll be honest with you, because they attacked me. But that was so because then it stopped my child from going down there. I didn't get done or anything because they had no evidence because they attacked me. Another case of defending yourself and you get arrested for it. Do you know what I mean? But that was because he was taking my daughter to smackheads' houses. Can you imagine how that feels? And my little girl, she's an angel. Do you know what I mean? She's never been around anybody like that in her life. The only reason he did it is to wind me up. Well, he got a reaction. He did get a reaction. Because I'm sorry, you're not doing that to my child just to wind me up. The person's house that he was taking them to, you know, there was a man and a woman, and obviously she wasn't on it, but he was, the fella. So, you know, the house in some ways was quite respectable because she maybe kept it, but she hid up that her partner was a smackhead. And then it's all come out and he can't see the kids and blah, blah, blah. So, you know, there's loads of stuff that the social services have done that they've hid up, that my kids have been around people that they shouldn't be around. I've not murdered anybody or done anything wrong. You know, I only left an abuser and I went to the family courts to get a remedy because I knew you can't work with the man. There's nothing, you can't work with him. There's just no working with him. Do you know what I mean? If you come to an agreement and said, right, well, you'd pick them up on a Saturday, you'd change it to a Sunday, do you get me? This is the type of person that you're dealing with. And it's all because I was getting on with my life. After I left him, I booked a holiday for me and my kids. We were going to Tunisia. I've lost £2,000 on a holiday. Funny how I was due to go on a holiday and then my ex-partner in 2013 kept my children and didn't return them back. Do you know what I mean? We were due to go on holiday 4 weeks later. That never happened. And I've never seen my kids properly since. And I've been to the family courts and they didn't do the job. And then because they didn't do the job and I've waited for 5 years going round them all, and because no one's done the job, you know, they think I'm just going to go away and just say, nah, do you know what I mean? But I can't do that. And I can't do that now. Coronavirus has put lockdown, COVID-19, because, you know, my poor little girl, can you imagine how my daughter feels? The last time I saw my little girl was the 1st of March 2015, and it was her birthday. I said bye-bye to her, and she used to count the days till she seen me. And I've never properly seen her since because the authorities didn't do the job, because when she went back that night, because she'd had such a nice time and stayed over, and we'd been to not Splash World, like a little water thing with her older sister as well, because I had 4 kids with this gentleman. You know, like I had a miscarriage at 15, then I had my oldest son at 16, then my daughter at 18, 19, and then I was 25 when I had my other son, and then I was 30 when I had my daughter. But all these pregnancies, this is how an abuser keeps you where you are, you see. When they're abusing you, they want you to be pregnant at a young age and they want to take over your mind, you see. When I met my ex-partner, I was full of life, as you can imagine. I was dead enthusiastic for anything and full of fun. Do you know what I mean? That, you know, I didn't have a, you know, I just enjoyed life, and I love my family, and I just love my friends. I wasn't a bad kid at all. Do you know what I mean? I just had ambition, and it was taken away from me because somebody wanted to take my sparkle and wanted it just for them, and wanted me to work for them and keep them. Do you know what I mean? Because I did work hard. I've worked hard all my life. From me having my kids, I've done my childcare, I've done my nursing. You know, nothing held me back even having my kids. And I was still with my kids 24/7 because I work nights, you see. So I never missed anything. I still put them to bed. And I'd be there when they got up as well. So they never knew I was never gone. Do you know what I mean? And I kept my house lovely. Not that keeping your house lovely means that you should have your kids, but it was lovely. And not in a way of, oh, you can't drop anything. My kids could play, they can have the toys out, do you know what I mean, and stuff. But they have fresh food every day. You know, there's none of this fucking shove it in the oven shit. Do you know what I mean? Because my kids got proper roast dinners and everything. There's never been any neglect to my kids. It's just purely because I've left and abused them and the authorities haven't done the job. Do you know what I mean? Which makes it even worse, you know. But going back to my daughter, when I last seen her, you know, she's obviously waiting to see me again. She's not seen me now for 5 years. Obviously, through the years, I've dropped stuff off at the school. I've been writing to them through the family courts for 2.5 years. For no one in the family courts to even check whether my children were getting the letters. And within the first few weeks of me writing the letters, I told them they were never going to get them. And then in January of 2018, in the family courts, we were told they never got the letters. But my daughter still said, "Can I see my mummy? I want to see my mummy and I want to see her." Do you know what I mean? But they still haven't done the job because I've now got a judge saying that he won't give me my case man files. And, you know, because I basically told him his job the last 2 times that I've been in court, that he doesn't want to, you know, release anything. So, you know, which is quite difficult because I want to know what they're working off to know why we've got to this and why for 5 years I've been running around like a fucking headless chicken to get nowhere. And, you know, and for no one to do the job and to have judge change after judge change after judge change and just like literally no one do the job. Kafkas isn't Kafkas. Kafkas.
Tinky, you've got someone joined you. You've got
Oh, I didn't know if it was or it popped up. Hi, is that Arlene?
It is, yeah.
Hi, Arlene.
Hello, love. I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. I've just got a white screen. The picture did pop up, but it's disappeared again. Oh, darling, I'm sat here breaking my heart with you, Tinky. You're an angel without wings, sweetheart.
Oh, thanks. You'll make me cry again.
Yeah, an angel without wings, darling. No doubt about it. Yourself and Angie and Binksy, I'll tell you what, you're 3 wonderful human beings, and I wish I had half your strength right now. I've been very much on my own. 19 days without seeing a human being.
Oh, well, get me number. We can get on that FaceTime, WhatsApp and that. You'll be able to see me then, and then you'll be sick of me.
No, darling, I'm just sick of being stuck up here, away in the middle of nowhere with, you know, none of my friends. It's really hard.
Oh no, I can imagine. I think it's even worse if you're even further away and you don't even feel like they're near you. I mean, I know I've not seen my daughter for 5 years, but I know exactly where the house is, and I know that she's only 10 minutes from me. So I feel a bit of comfort in that, if that sounds strange.
Yeah. Well, obviously my experience wasn't anywhere near as harrowing as yours, love, but the same thing happened to me, darling. I trusted my ex-husband to take my children on holiday for 2 weeks, and he never brought them back. And my son was 8 and my daughter was 6. And then him and his mother went straight to the courts in Scotland behind my back without my knowledge. And I had a big fat sweaty judge tell me the children are born in Scotland, they should stay in Scotland. And I lived in Leeds, and I never had my kids again after that. Now I'm suffering because my daughter hates me because she thinks it. But I'm in a fantastic place with my son now. He realises a lot more. He understands a lot more now. I mean, they're both Tinky. I mean, my son's 29 now and my daughter will be 27 next, you know, so they're not babies. But having your own child that you gave birth to hate you for a complete lie is very hard to deal with, you know.
Yeah, I can imagine that because, you know, I can't even...
What it is Tinky, they don't want to believe it because then it would make their whole life a lie, you know.
Say that again, sorry.
They don't want to believe the truth because then that would make their whole life a lie, you know.
Well, exactly.
And I didn't only have their father's side of the family filling their heads full of magic, but my own family were filling their heads full of magic too, you know. So I didn't know where to turn.
Oh my gosh, that must have been absolutely horrendous.
Yeah, but you know, I've just got to keep trying and remembering when I look at yourself, Liv and Angie. I mean, I watched the time that they came and took Angie's kids away from her. I was sat breaking my heart. I just wanted to go through the screen and murder somebody, you know. And I've just got to keep remembering there's always somebody a lot worse off than me. But sometimes it's hard, especially when you're on your own and you're sat dwelling on stuff, you know.
Well, that's it. And I think, sadly, when children are being manipulated, it does sometimes, until they're in their adulthood, to be able to understand what they've gone through, and then then they have to go through a process as well. You know, they go through like a grieving process, because, like you've just said, when they realise that they've been lied to as well and manipulated, it create a grief for them, because the person trusted hasn't been the person that they actually thought that they were. Does that make sense?
Oh yes, in every sense of the word.
And unfortunately, the poor person that's been sat, you know, knew maybe that this would happen, and that the children will be manipulated like this. You know, it's harder for them, because they have to take a double whammy, if you like, because you not only then you've got a situation where your child, like you say, they could hate you, because they might think in their mind, well, this is all your fault, and you know, you've done this because they've been manipulated by somebody else. So and then the mother as a person's going through that grief every day of just wanting to see the child, remembering those last times that they saw each other. Do you know what I mean? And then they have to deal with that. You know, just the emotional side of having to deal with that. It's massive for everybody involved, isn't it? But it is, no child and no parent should be going through this. You know, obviously, apart from if you're a paedophile, you know, and stuff like that. And, you know, other than that, they should be promoting family, not breaking family. Do you know what I mean? And it's like my son, he came and found me in August, my older son. I've got 4 kids with me ex-partner, but I've got boy, girl, boy, girl. So it's the 2 younger ones that is withheld contact with me, because he knows he can, because obviously the other 2 are a free will and can do as they please. And I see my other daughter and I see my grandkids. Do you know what I mean? So I do always have a call that I know that she'll always tell me if something's wrong. Do you know what I mean? Or something.
Yeah.
You know, if make, you know, and she'll tell me stuff. So
I've noticed that Mr. John Lawrence is in the chat, if he's there or not. Well, I don't know if he's not or not, but we've broken up now, and it's been over a lot of lies that I've been blamed for, which are not true.
I don't know.
So that's devastating me too, you know. I wouldn't mind if I'd done the things I'd been accused of, but to be accused of something that you haven't done is the worst thing in the world. And all I did was love him, and I still do, you know, but hey ho, them's the breaks, right?
I mean, I don't know anything about anything, to be honest with you, and I'll be honest with you. So, you know, I don't know what to say there. I'll be honest.
No,
so,
that's all right.
and without sounding awful, I don't get involved with. I'll be there for anybody as a thing, but I don't.
No, you're right. You're right. No, oh well, he's quickly come off now. Well, there you go. Didn't want to hear it. That speaks volumes.
I feel awful for you, you know, because I thought you know, you seemed, you know, lovely people together and stuff. So, but you know, it's...
Yeah, so did I, love. So did I. But there you go.
Well, you know.
So yeah, I'm dealing with a few things just now, you know. So on top of the lockdown.
Oh, it's just awful, isn't it? You know, but like I was saying,
what hurts is seeing that other people can just saunter through life, though, you know, like nothing's happened, all blasé, and you're sat here.
Who? Sorry.
Torturing. What? It just hurts to know that some folk can just go sauntering through life like nothing ever happened, you know. I just can't be that way, because I actually have a heart and a soul and a conscience. But there you go. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was saying before about my little girl. This is, on the mental side for my little girl. The last time she seen me, she was, it was 5 years ago. It was a birthday, and then we've gone in and out of the court. We've been in and out of the court while, through this time and everything else, and that they've had me waiting and blah blah blah. They've had her waiting. In between this, I put in mass complaints with social services, which I've got all the evidence of. Then they offered me a payout, you see, because then they realised that they'd, abused me and my kids. And then they said that obviously my ex-partner was abusing me and my kids. I've got it all documented. Now, at that point now, I know they should have then said to me, this is a police matter. You take it to the police. We have reported he's emotionally abusing you and your children. This is a crime. But they didn't do that. He said, take it to the family courts and they'll sort it out. Do you know what I mean? Well, the family courts, I did a bundle and no one's ever looked at it.
Yeah, it must be so frustrating, love. I've been following all your videos and watching, as I'm sure you know, and I know a lot of the story, love.
It's me poor child's mental state. Can you imagine being like 4 and all of a sudden, 5, you don't see your mum. She's now turned 11.
Yeah.
I was going to the school, dropping things off at the school, so I knew that they were getting stuff to get me. Well,
yes.
one year it was a birthday. Well, I took a big bite, didn't I? And balloons, like you do, and cards, and God knows what else in. So I said, here's a birthday present. Will you give it that? Because, of course, she had to come out of school parading with a bike, didn't she? Well, it was gorgeous, the bike, and it had a little baby seat and all the rest of it on in a basket. Well, you see, he obviously didn't like the fact that I'd left that present there and that everybody knew that I'd left that present there for. Did you get me? So we had me blocked then. He went to the CAFCAS. Now, CAFCAS has never properly been in touch with the kids' school or anybody else in, or even spoken to the social worker, or, he just rang them and said...
they're a nasty bunch, that CAFCAS, love.
He just rang them though and said, she can't have it, she can only have it, because this is when I was writing to the kids. He said, she can only write to the kids, basically, can you stop her going to the school? Well, the school should have just said, look, I'm sorry, I don't have a problem with her. She's been coming in for the last 3 years while this has been going on. Again, my ex-partner getting his own way. Well, then the CAFCAS rang me going, well, you can't go to the school. Well, I could have gone to the school, but do you know what I mean? So from that, they've just assisted his controlling behaviour. So I've never been able to leave my child, a present anywhere since. Do you know what I mean? And then all the
letters. I'll tell you what is good, though, Tinky, for you, darling, is you have all that paperwork. And in the future, darling, when you hopefully see your babies again, they'll be able to look through all that, darling. You have it all. I mean, I've got all the court papers in black and white in a folder. My kids weren't even interested. They didn't want to read it. Do you know what my ex-mother-in-law turned around and told my children if they came and lived with their mum in Leeds, that they would be murdered like Holly and Jessica? That's written down in black and white in court papers.
Oh my God, that's shocking.
Yeah, that's what their grandma told them. If they went to go and stay with their mum, they would be murdered like Holly and Jessica. I'll never forget it.
That is shocking. Well, my consultant wrote
them to leave Scotland.
My consultant, through the NHS, wrote to the family court saying, like, what you've done to her is cruel and inhumane. What are you basically playing at? He said, I'll come in the court tomorrow for her. He's willing to stay. Oh, this is it. I've told the judge. I said, my consultant will come in. Don't you be getting your psychologist. You can use mine. I said, he's from the NHS. But guess what?
Not a paid show.
They won't have him in. And then I arranged a meeting with the social worker with 5 of my professionals behind me. Have a guess who didn't show for that meeting? The social worker. I can imagine. So everyone else showed up apart from them. So, it's just like no matter what I do, because I know that they're in the wrong. And instead of them, do you know what? I wouldn't even mind, if the police even just said to me, I just don't think we've looked at this right, love. Can we have a look, please? But they won't.
They all want our heads banging together, honestly. But the world's gone bananas. It really has. I've been saying it for years, and I've been called mad for saying it. You know?
Well, like I
I
said,
knew I was wide awake, Tinky, since I was 9 years old, love. I remember watching a Jim will fix it show with a family, and I
yeah.
turned around and I got this overwhelming feeling that this was a bad man, and I stood
Oh,
up and I
me
shouted,
too.
"He's a bad man." Sorry?
Me too. I'm exactly the same. How mad's that?
Yeah, 9 years old, I got this voice in my head telling me, and I got battered and put to bed for that. And from that moment on, I was wide awake, 9 years old. So that's 40 years I've carried the burden, you know. So it's the last maybe 3 years, I'd say, that people have woken up. So my shoulders
Yeah.
have gotten a bit lighter. And they're not so keen to call me mad now because everything I said has come to fruition, you know.
Well, do you know when I was a little kid, right? I used to think, you know, like they were going on. Do you remember? I used to watch. Is it Sesame Street and stuff like that? Is it the
Yeah,
American thing? That one with the big bird or
yeah.
whatever it was. And you know, like I used to think, well, they recycle. Why don't we recycle? And it's like the government. You know, like years ago, we used to have everything filled in glass. Do you know what I mean? Glass bottles and stuff. So, you know, it's like they create a problem, then they throw it out to us and go, it's your fault. And then they go, oh, I'll give you a solution. No, you create the problem. You throw it out to us. You know, stop blaming us for your shit, what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? It's like all
Oh,
this, the family courts and the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? Until I seen what they did to me, oh my god, I couldn't have wrote a book about it. Do you know, I couldn't have believed that it was actually that true. In fact, I still can't
yeah.
believe that they've done what they've done to me. Do you know what I mean? And it infuriated me that much. Like I said, I didn't literally go out in my knickers and bra, but I might as well have. I had my shorts and t-shirt under, and that was it, and a thong and a fucking bra over the top because they pissed me off that much. And then them
Yeah.
lies saying you gagged, and I'm like, nah, I'm a child of God. I speak the truth, you know. And my mum
Oh,
is in.
Tinky,
Go on.
Tinky, I don't know if you know, Angie's in the chat. She's just said, "Hi guys, I'm sorry I can't be on tonight. Well done, Tinky. Trying to watch, but it's not letting me watch. It's stalling on me."
Oh she said before she was gonna. I don't. Is she in the room with us now in here or just on the talking bit? Because we can
No,
move.
she's in the chat, love.
Oh, I'll have a
Yeah.
look.
So hi, Angie. Hope you're all right. Love.
Computer on there, but you know,
Your voice is very different to your video I'm watching. There's a bit of a difference there. So
it's
whatever's
what.
going on. And I've just had a message flash up on my screen saying my internet is unstable. It might as well be like the rest of me.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I'm just thinking there. I can't. Oh, yeah. I have to move the mouse down, don't I? You see, I'm just crap with technology. Do you know what? If I'd
Oh,
knew after this about 5 years ago, I might have been in a different bloody situation now. But I doubt it. I would have been with the way it is.
well, it's all happened for a reason, love, the way it has. Got to try
But,
and keep remembering that too, you know.
oh no! Like I said, I mean, God, I've never been so happy since me and Angie have met each other. Fucking hell, we've been on such a journey together. We've been everywhere. Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
bed,
Yeah.
we've been a tower of strength to each other. You know,
Birds of a feather, darling, flock together.
well, that's it. And you know, there's been days where I've been in my flat. Even last year, it was so that cold in here. And I mean, even when Ange come, you know, she said, "Oh my God, it's like you're in a fridge." You know, it doesn't help your mental state. And then when the government puts your money up and you've got no food and everything else in, do you know what I mean? So, you know, I've gone through dark days and then living without your kids. It's like, God, how much more do you want to put on me, mate? Do you know what I mean? And then you have like the doctor going, oh, you know, what was it? Someone said to me, why aren't you at work? Well, do you know what? I'd really love to be back at work and just have a normal life.
Yeah.
But,
Oh,
unfortunately,
I'd love to be well enough to go to work, love, but I've taken steps to try and make myself better. You know, I'm drinking distilled water now. First thing in the morning, the first drink I'll have will be boiling water with lemon, ginger, and black pepper. I've noticed a difference with that. It's really cleared the mind fog.
yeah, well,
I've
just like
stopped smoking. I've stopped smoking the plant as well because I don't think that was doing me any good at all, love. It was making me sit and procrastinate about things that would normally just go over your head, you know.
yeah.
So I had to stop. So
Yep.
I've noticed a big difference.
So,
Tinky, this is one thing I wanted to say. I was actually going to do a little video on this. But what I've noticed, without being disrespectful to any human being at all, is what I've noticed since I've been in this, you know, this trail the last few years, is that everyone that's on it, they smoke weed. Now, is there something in that, in the fact that their minds have been opened and they're not as susceptible to being brainwashed? Or is it the other way? Where is it sending them to think things that's not really happening? But I really have thought about it quite a lot, and I'm thinking, do you know what? Every single, they do. They've either done drugs at some point in their life or they're weed smokers. And I'm thinking, how odd.
Well, that's it. Well, at the end of the, if you research it anyway, that's what it's all there for, isn't it? Anxiety and depression, and it, you know. But because people are being charged for, you know, like obviously if certain people are going to buy it and stuff like that, that's where, you know, you don't want like kids smoking, do you, or getting into trouble because they, you know what I mean, that they want to get out a weed. That's where like it should be free, and you put it in your cooking because it helps depression and anxiety. So, you know. Do you know what I mean? There's a benefits there for it, and it does help you out. Well, for me, it helps me.
It just, well, I think for me, I mean, I didn't start smoking it till I was 29, love, and that was after I broke my back. It was spinal surgery. There was nothing, I couldn't walk for nearly 2 years. And it was actually the elderly lady that lived next door to me that came and brought me some and said, there's some magic herbs, sprinkle that on your dinner. And, you know, you couldn't make it up.
Well, there you go.
I found out where she got it from was from the minister down at St. Paul's Church at the bottom of the street, you know? I was like, what?
Oh.
You know?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I think I might have abused it over
and Tinky,
time.
we need to wrap up because we've got a Delaware coming on in 4 minutes.
Oh, sorry, Jason, love.
That's okay, mate.
All right, okay. I didn't realise
it's gone quick, hasn't it?
Yeah, time
Considering
away from me.
Nervous, you see. So thanks for coming on, Arlene.
Oh, you're welcome, darling. It was breaking my heart, sat watching you crying, darling. I just wanted to cry with you, you know. So, and I had a little. Okay, sweetheart, keep doing what you're doing. Stay strong. God love you.
Guys,
cheers, ladies.
We'll see you next week.
No worries, guys. Thanks for now. Thanks for letting me on, Jason.
Cheers, Arlene.
See you later, Jace, love.
See you, Tinky.
Take care.
Night, Jace. Oh, see you, love.
Keep up the good work. And keep up the good work.
See you later, love.
See you, mate. Bye.